And we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and with me today is Dan from Flippin' Daddy. Say hi.
Hi.
And Bill and Dave are here in the chat. That's close friends of both of ours. Just so everyone is aware, and this is going to come up in the questions today, Dan has 2 children. So he's a full-time father and full-time reseller. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So if you see this cutie pie or the other one, hi, Charlie.
Oh,
hi, Chase. Hi.
I'm using Charlie to say hi.
You're using Charlie. Do you remember me, Chase? I gave you all the Star Wars toys, remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, look who's on my shirt.
Tacos.
And that's also where I got that giant spider squishy.
Yeah.
They pranked my cousin where.
Yeah, he pranked his cousin. His cousin screamed in terror. It was funny.
That's funny. So in case you guys are wondering what the heck we're talking about, before Keith and I had moved to Florida, I had a storage unit in Pennsylvania that Dan and Bill and Dave helped Keith and I empty out. And as payment, I took everyone out for dinner, and Dan brought his kids. And then I had a whole box of my kids' toys, who are now 18 and 21. So I gave the toys to Chase because we didn't need them. So what we're going to talk about today, I want to kind of do the old format, and Dan, you were on for that as well, if you remember hanging with the Hippos.
I do.
You were one of my first guests for that, and now you're my first guest for the return. We're going to call it the Friday Hippo Hangout from now on. I'm going to try to always go live on Fridays. And I forgot to turn this thing on. So, okay. Friday Hippo Hangout is what it's called. I'm going to try to always go live on Fridays from now on. I feel like there's a different vibe and everyone is happier, excited. There's just like a different vibe on Fridays with people. And I'm going to go in the afternoon. I'm also going to be drawing a winner for 1 free month of List Perfectly at the end of every live show I do. So whether you currently use it, if you currently use it, you can still win and just not pay for your next month. Or you can come in as someone brand new and try it out for a month for free. And I have a thing I'm using I've never used before. So if you were in the chat and you commented, Dave and Bill, comment again, because it's supposed to be gathered in the comments to draw the winner. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. And so John asks, I have never used wholesale. I know Emma and Kat. I've met them in person, but personally, we don't use it. We're getting ready to relocate again, so we're not trying to do too much wholesale right now. And because Keith and I will be starting back up our wholesale business soon, I'm not. I don't want to say this the wrong way. Use wholesale because it's a great thing, and Emma and Kat are great. But because Keith and I have experience doing it ourselves, we don't want to pay someone else a fee to do what we can do. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
My phone is blowing up. Okay, so at the end of this, I'm going to draw a winner. We're going to go back to the old format. Dan, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Sweet.
Reselling related. Then I'm going to ask you some trivia.
Darn.
Then we're going to do some this or that.
Sweet.
So you don't have to have the trivia answers in the chat to win the List Perfectly. That's going to be a random draw off of anyone who participates in the chat during the show. But you can play along. Are you ready? Because I got my stuff up.
I'm ready.
All right. So, Dan, you just celebrated a year as a full-time reseller.
Yes.
Tell us how you transitioned into full-time reselling. How did you prepare to build up your business? Did you save money? Did you budget? How did you get ready to make that move?
We worked. Sorry, I'm putting up the video so I can see the chat too. But anyway, I was doing this for 6 or 7 years part time, and I was at a point where I couldn't grow anymore working where I was working. I worked a lot of long hours, a lot of weird hours, and it made it tough with kids and my wife and I on opposite shifts. And we made the decision that one of us needed to come home to be with the kids because it didn't make sense to spend, half a paycheck on childcare. So we made the decision because I can make extra money because I did this, that's what we would do. I would not suggest the route we took for everybody. As I mean, we had some money in the bank, but my business was not set up. I was at about 800 active listings when I went full time, selling about $1,500 a month. So I took a huge pay cut going from my full time job to this, which is not the greatest decision in the world. I've caught up now where I'm at least on par to where I was. But it wasn't the best financial decision, but it was the right family decision. I am a million times happier. I am way more fulfilled, and I've learned more about myself in this year and what I can and cannot do than I ever did working for somebody else. And I suggest anybody in the chat or watching this that if you have that opportunity, to do it. Because
and I agree with you. Like, there's steps that I always recommend folks take. Follow Dave Ramsey, get out of debt, save up 6 months. Be don't all have that opportunity. Like, I got disabled and wasn't able to work anymore. So it was this or nothing, like sink or swim, be homeless or learn eBay. And in your situation, sometimes the family has to come first. And if you know that you're not, like, if you were going to quit your job and, have your house taken away from you or be evicted from your apartment, or that would not be a good decision. But you guys knew that you were able to at least continue paying the bills while you built up.
Yeah. So. My wife works full time, so she makes enough that basically covers our the four walls. So, we're good when it came to that. So that's, what went into that decision. Cause we basically came to, I didn't have time to run eBay, work my full-time job, and she works her full-time job. I was like, one of them had to go. And we both agreed that the very first thing that could not go was eBay. Because if you ask her, from the moment we met, like 18 years ago, that's all I've ever talked about was being an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I've tried every kind of entrepreneurial thing since I was like 18 years old. I mean, probably even longer than that. I used to sell little action figures when I was like 7 or 8 years old, sucking up people's lunch money. So I've always been doing something. So we made that decision. That was the very first thing that couldn't go. I had put 6 years into it, learning, thinking I knew more than I did. That would be the first thing you will learn if you decide to go full time. You do not know as much as you think you do.
I didn't know anything because it was Keith's business, and he was getting ready to quit his job. And then he's like, "Well, I guess you have to do this." Now I didn't know anything. Y'all, I was at the bins buying Beanie Babies.
Yeah, I thought I knew so much because I helped like Bill and Dave get their business started. I helped a lot with that, and I'm doing this for so long. You get that job mentality where you have time in, so you think that makes something special. And like, no, I didn't have a clue on. I knew what to buy, but the other aspects that are business that doesn't get talked about enough. The decisions that happen on a daily basis at home are the things that. I didn't know anything about.
And there's a huge difference between doing it because you want to and doing it because you have to. When you have a full-time job and another paycheck coming in, I feel like you don't push yourself as hard.
Oh, that's 100% true.
Yeah. So once you go full-time and you don't have that paycheck anymore and you have kids, that was another thing. I didn't have the kids to worry about. So my next question. You balance your work and your 2 children while Megan works, and you already touched on that. So your wife works full time. You're basically working full time from home, but also being a dad at the same time. So you're like the male Megan Mawhinney of the reselling world.
I will take that as the biggest compliment ever. She's
so
a rock star.
There's a lot to running this business. There's a lot to it. I have Keith as a partner. I can't imagine doing it alone. I know a lot of people do. We don't have small children. Like, this is just what we just have our business. Are your kids okay?
They know I'm live, so they won't act crazy.
Yeah. So do you have any advice to anyone struggling to manage their time?
Oh, time out. Can you please take them in the room, please? I don't know what the issue is going on here. Wait. Oh my God, they're fighting over a balloon. That's why I say balloons are the devil. I don't like balloons. But oh my goodness. This is 24/7.
This is your life.
This is my life. The main thing that you need to keep in mind is that you have to do your business, even with family. I'm not saying you put your family second, your business first. That's not what I mean at all. But if you had a full-time job and you had to go to work, you have to go to work. So that was something that took a little while. Is I put everything else first, and then I tried to fill in business with whatever time was left. And that's something that we've changed recently, and we're getting amazing results doing that. It's finding what time I do have, that I don't have a hard commit somewhere, and that has to be business time.
Mm-hmm.
And setting yourself up for that. Like, I changed my whole business model based on the fact that I only have 1 day a week to source.
That's my next question, so don't go too far into that.
All right, I won't go too far into it. But my kids are first, so if they have a doctor's appointment, that's blocked in stone. But I have walked around that. Like, I have my schedule set up every day that it looks pretty much exactly the same every day. And, I've messed around with that to see what flow fits better. The summer was different. Now school season started. So now Chase is, thank God, in first grade. So it's me and Charlie hanging out all morning. But so that makes it a little easier. But it's figuring out what time you have and then fully committing to that. And I'm lucky that my wife understands that, and she helps. She works third shift, so she sleeps all day. But she helps when she first comes home, and that's usually when I take pictures and I pull shipping, because I have to go to a storage unit because I don't have enough room in my house. So I go to a storage unit every day and pull shipping, and I actually have my photography set up there. And then I come home and I have the rest of the day to list at my house. So now I work that around Charlie. I try to work when he naps, and sometimes I have to work when they all go to bed at night, but all depends on the day.
So do you take your pictures at the storage unit too?
What was that?
Do you take your pictures at the storage unit?
I do. I used to do that all in-house, but once I got over like 1,200 items and added a second kid, that made it like impossible. So I set up, I have little there's like portable little battery packs that people get for camping. I have 2 of them to hook up my lights, and I have little tables over there, and everything's over there, which is nice. My wife likes that our house isn't a cluttered mess. It's just my little corner that I have my desk and my shipping supplies. That's the only stuff that's over here now. So that's really nice.
So you really have to manage your time, because you have to leave every day.
Yes.
You just don't walk into another room or the garage or whatever to get your stuff, and then you're out while you take the pictures too. It
does have positives though too, because I was finding when I take pictures here that I could get distracted easily. So now I know, like, if I get chased on the bus in the morning, and then I get in the car and I go, and I have a hard stop at 10 so Megan can go to sleep. Mm-hmm. So I have to stay focused while I'm there. And I'm not usually just taking 1 day. A lot of times I'm taking 2 days worth of photos. Mm-hmm. Because like Wednesday I spend sourcing, like Friday I try to set up all errands and stuff like that. And I don't want to spend my whole weekend over there, especially Megan gets every other weekend off. So when her weekend's off, I don't want to spend my whole day working. So I like to have that stuff prepped. So a lot of times I'm doing 2 days worth of pictures, and trying to knock that out as quickly as possible, so that because I have that hard stop at 10. I have had to go back over in the evening a couple of times when I get distracted, but I've been better with that lately.
Well, and I think it's smart to bank. I mean, Keith and I do everything here, but we both bank extra pictures just because you never know. Like a month ago, I don't know, we had a flat tire, and we had to wait for AAA. It blew the whole day, right? But when we got home, was like, oh, look, we each have these extra things ready to go and list perfectly. We can just push out. So I always tell folks, bank extra pictures. And if you have time, get them ready to go. Like it's bank extra drafts. Because you never know, especially with kids. But I mean, even not having kids, we were outsourcing and we got a flat tire and we were on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And it happened.
That's huge. I've heard. I don't remember who, but yeah, I've heard there's about draft banks being important, and that's something I never really considered, and that's something I think is really important, that you can wake up in the morning and click a couple listings live every day so that you're already going, because I mean the most important thing in reselling business is being consistently active.
Consistency, yeah.
Because you miss a couple days and everything goes.
Do you use List Perfectly?
I do not. I do not use List Perfectly. One, because I only sell on 2 platforms. That's one of my changes.
It's an inventory management system as well.
Also, my computer is old as dirt. So the last time I tried to use List Perfectly, it actually took me longer to list than it did doing it my way. And that's because
I understand that, but if you use List Perfectly, whether you're on one platform or 10, it's an inventory management system as well. So this is the number one reason I recommend it, is because if your stuff falls off of eBay, which it always does, you don't have to pull it and rephotograph it. You just relist it from List Perfectly. But building up draft banks in there also, because eBay will delete drafts after a certain amount of time.
Yes.
You could have 500 drafts in List Perfectly, and they can sit there for 5 years, and then you can make them live. So that's just, for the audience watching. If you do have List Perfectly and you're not using it to build a draft bank, use it to build a draft bank. Absolutely. Because I do, actually. When I get up in the morning before we pull shipping, I make 5 things live on 5 platforms.
That wakes up your store early in the morning.
Yep. And then Keith does his 10 to 20 listings later in the day, and I may do another 5. It depends on how many videos and social media I'm doing. But yeah, the draft bank is super important. And even just having pictures, extra pictures, can help. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to address is, I know you only go sourcing once a day because of the kids and your schedule. So tell us about why you chose Wednesdays, why you chose the bins. Do you take Charlie? Where does he go? Like, how do you do that?
I typically go Wednesdays. I go to the bins. There was 2 issues that I was running into with sourcing, which this is a big thing that I can suggest to everybody. Look at your business and the quote unquote excuses you have for not growing more. They're usually real, but you got to figure out how to get over them. One of my problems with sourcing, I kept running out of stuff. I list faster than I buy. I've never had a huge death pile. Like, so many people have. I never, because I list faster than I actually source. And there's 2 reasons. One is time, and 2 was always capital. It was, I'm listing all this stuff, buying it $4 or $5 at a pop. I'm spending $300-$400 a week to get 100 items up in a week. And I'm selling 20 or 30 because I'm selling mostly clothes. They're not always the fastest selling things in the world. So I have all this money soaked up in capital. So that's why I decided to go to the bins.
Mm-hmm.
That I can get stuff cheaper. I'm selling more now than I was a year ago, making better profits, and I have less money invested in capital because I'm spending about $80 a week on inventory because it's $1.19 a pound at my bins. Typically, if I don't get 50 pounds, it's a little bit more expensive because it's weighted. If it's under 50 pounds, it's like $1.50 a pound or something like that. I almost always get 50 pounds, but sometimes I don't. But it's $1.19, so I can buy inventory that most people wouldn't because of that. Like, I like to call myself the J. Crew King, because I sell J. Crew, which everybody says stay away from because there's like 40,000 pieces of J. Crew, and it has, if you just look J. Crew, it's like 40,000 items, and there's only like 10,000 that sell. That's a horrible sell-through rate. But if you look at what J. Crew sells under $15, it's like 100% sell-through rate. So because I'm getting J. Crew shirts for 50, 60 cents, I can go sell them for $13, still make $10 profit, and I'm selling them at 100% sell-through rate. So I can buy stuff like that.
That's the perfect example of a volume-based bread and butter business right there.
My bins that I go to, it's probably one of the nicer bins I've ever, like, there's a bins outlet that's like 15 minutes from my house, and I intentionally drive an hour away because I don't like the one in my town. Because this one's amazing. And there's like 2 sections. There's like 3 sections of people. There's like the flea market people that go after all the hard goods. I don't sell hard goods, so I don't have to worry about them. Then there's like the 10 guys who sell vintage t-shirts and are all looking for that. I don't have to worry about them. They throw everything that I sell back into bins. And then there's the international buyers who are picking up everything and, whatever their criteria is and sending it back to their country to sell. Those, I don't really worry about them either. So I'm in this little niche, and I drive I confuse them because they see I'm there for like 2 hours and I have a cartload of stuff. And they're like, what are you selling? I'm like, oh, these are American Eagle jeans. Well, why would you buy them? I'm like, because I'll sell them for $20 in 2 weeks.
No, I love American Eagle. I just had Trish and Diane on last week live talking about bread and butter. And Trish sells Walmart. And she doesn't care. She goes to the bins. She gets it super cheap, like the plus size Walmart jeans.
Oh.
She has 13,000 listings and 2 employees though. So she's a whole nother level than us. But and I'm in total agreement with you because being here in Florida now, and our cost of goods has gone up from 99 cents to $5 to $10 a piece. We're sourcing a lot. We're getting a lot of wholesale and remotes, thankfully, to have enough to list. But if we didn't have like our wholesale connections or our remotes, we would not have enough to list.
Yes,
and
that is.
I want to go back to the days when I was complaining about all I ever find is bread and butter brands. Yes, but I found 400 pieces a week for $400. Now, if I want to spend $400, I'm getting 40 pieces. I can't math, but if you can math, you can figure it out. This is why Keith does our accounting. But yeah, I wish I could go back to that because having that much volume for that and so quick too, like we could go into one Goodwill 99-cent day and in 2 hours, not even an hour, come out with 200 pieces and go to another one. So 2 hours, we could hit 2 stores with 2 people, but still come home with 200 to 400 items. We're profiting $10 a piece, but it's 2 different business models. But I like the bread and butter volume based a lot better than what we've had been cornered into here in Florida.
And I like it. I like the bins. I almost every week I find some kind of gem of some sort. I found a St. John's like evening skirt, like a full length skirt. Not great with women's, brand new with tags at the bins.
Maxi full length evening.
There you go. I'm learning women's clothing because that was I went in doing this transitioning saying I was just going to sell jeans because that's what I've sold the most of. And I realized that there's not enough jeans at the bins that are quality enough. So now I'm just selling all clothing, but I've cut out most of the headaches of selling other stuff. I mean, unless it has a barcode that I can scan it, I don't want to do the research.
Yeah.
I've learned, I've gotten burned, and it's my fault, but I've gotten burned with buying these things that I look, I'm at a yard sale or something, and I look them up and they're worth like $70, and I really know nothing about it. I had these cameras that I found at a yard sale, and they ended up working great, and I actually didn't get to hit on them, but people were asking me questions. I don't have a clue. And the amount of time that I spent on that, I could have got another like 10 listings up and made that money back. But so that's why I have focused more on clothing. Oh, shush, you. Want to say hi? Chip and wait.
Want to say hi? Hi, I remember you when you were this big.
Yes, this is Star's #1 fan.
Yes, I love Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
He used to cry, and then I put Star's video on, and he'd stop crying and watch.
Hi.
Yes, he eats chips. All right, go get mommy.
You got chips. Oh my goodness. So basically the reason I wanted to ask these 2 questions is number 1, if you are doing this full time and you don't have small children at home and you're making excuses and you don't have all the time in the day to do what you need to do, stop it. Stop it right now. Megan Mawini is a really good example. Dan is a really good example. There are folks out there with small children at home all day who still manage to make this work and do it full time. There is really no excuse other than the fact that you probably have bad time management. And like, I do agree with what you said. And I think that was really smart. We all make excuses, and sometimes those are based in fact, but you have to figure out what the fact is behind the excuse and how to get around it, over it, and problem solve it.
And that's the key to doing this full time. And I struggled with it. It took me a while. I mean, I didn't grow very much when we first like month I did. I was super excited, and then you hit the wall where you're doing this every day. And, I was like, oh, I made a huge mistake. And then we just figured stuff out. I adjusted stuff. I kept trying new things.
But I'll tell you a secret. 5 years from now, you're going to have a really bad summer like we did, and you're going to say this is a huge mistake, and then It happens. Like we've been at this for 5 years, and it is.
Oh yeah, most
That's
definitely.
why you got to cross post and have
I get it on the day to day. Like I'll have a huge day Tuesday and then nothing on Wednesday, and it's like, what in the world?
Or you'll have a huge sale, and then you'll have a return, and then you'll have a small sale, and then you'll have someone bitching and wanting free shipping. It's
speaking of that, as I just got 3 notifications on my phone. I just got a return accepted and 2 returns delivered to my house. So, oh yeah, and none of them are clothing. It's everything that I've bought that's not clothing that gets returned to me. It's driving me
really? For me, it's lately anymore, like every return, and it cracks me up. Because returns are part of the business. We do free returns. It is what it is. But it's always, if it doesn't fit me, you must have listed it incorrectly, and it must be a kid's because it doesn't fit me.
Yeah,
That's what they always tell me. It doesn't fit. It must be a kid's. No, you're fat. Sorry, that was rude. I'm fat too, but like I don't try to
opening up items not as described cases for that. And I didn't know that was an issue because I don't follow the seller updates like I should. And I didn't know that was an issue. And then all of a sudden I looked and I'm getting charged an extra fee because I had like 8% items not described. So then I had to go back and fight every single one of them because it's like my measurements are there. I take pictures. They're in the description. Not my fault. It's not as described.
That's what I like about free returns. So if they open an item not as described or doesn't fit, you can refund them less the return shipping, even though you offered a free return, and do it because they misused the system that they opened it for didn't return and it was a false sign ad, and then you can report the buyer and keep your return shipping. So, but free returns is a whole other thing. So stop making excuses. Find ways to problem solve and work with whatever you've got. Dan found a way. He goes once a week. Where does Charlie go when you go to the Benz?
It depends on the week. 1 week Megan's off, so she just hangs out with him, and the other week when she has to work, so she sleeps, he goes to my mom's, and they get no-knee Charlie Day.
So you've totally found a way to work around this. You found a way to find enough inventory at a cost you can afford that makes you enough profit. You may be having to hustle a little bit harder because it's volume, but I think with today's market and economy and people not having money, I think they're looking for those cheaper, lower end bread and butter items.
I agree. I mean, I have found
nobody got $50 for silver jeans anymore.
No, and it's the truth, and that's why I price the way I price. That's why I sell what I sell, and I think I do relatively well. Obviously, we can always do better, but my store has doubled in a year I've been full time, and I think that's pretty great considering I was trying to figure out what I was doing for the last 12 months.
Yeah, seriously. So do you I want to talk about life and work balance, which is so important. And life and work balance is important if you live alone, if you live alone with a cat, if you have one wife or 7 wives or kids. If family, friends, and your own personal mental health, it doesn't matter what your situation is. It's important for everyone. So Dan, do you have certain days that you take time off?
I wouldn't say certain days. I mean, right now it's football season, so Sunday afternoons I'm not working. But other than that, the rest of the time I don't take certain days off typically unless we have something planned. Like sometimes we'll plan day trips or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I like to take evenings off. I like to try my hardest to work this like a 9 to 5. Like I like to be done by dinner time. Mm-hmm. So evening I can help with homework, baths. Chase and I play video games, watch a movie. And, when Megan's off, then we get our time as well. So I usually like to do it that way. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of hobbies or anything other than watching TV. So that's the way I try to work it. I try to work it that. But, I mean, there are times I have to work in the evening. Last night was one of them. I fell asleep. I'm not going to lie. I got chased off the bus and I passed out. I slept for 2 hours. So I had to do my work after dinner. But
you're tired. That's part of taking care of yourself physically and mentally. If you're tired, take a nap and don't beat yourself up for it.
Yeah, because I go to sleep Like I really have knuckled into scheduling. I go to sleep at 10:30 because I share my closet at the 10 o'clock party, and then I go to bed. And I wake up at 5:30 because I like to have me time before my kids wake up.
See, I'm going to sleep around 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I sleep till like 11 or noon. But that's what's great about this is we can all be.
Exactly.
And my time off, like I like to work in the evenings. I like second shifts. I always have. I know it's weird. Like nobody in the world. I'm also the person that prefers listing over thrifting. I'm weird, but I've always liked second shift. So I like to work at night. So I'll do a 12 to like 9 o'clock with a break for dinner all week, and then I have my weekend off.
Yes, go away.
Hi, Chase. He's concerned about something.
Oh, he's going to my mom's tomorrow morning to go watch his cousin's t-ball game, and he wants to know if he's going right away because that can't wait.
No, that's Chase is making his own plans. He's doing his scheduling and his to-do list.
It's his most excited day because tomorrow's his birthday party, so we are getting that all ready while he's with my mom. So he's going to bounce at a bounce craze.
So what do you do to make sure that your mental health is taken care of?
I don't know.
Well, it sounds to me like you make sure you have evening time with your boys.
That is important. I'm gonna say I worked second shift at my last full-time job, and I worked 12 days in a row. I only got every other weekend off, and in that 12 days of working, I would get hit with 12-hour shifts on top of that. It would become very depressing. I got really depressed when Chase was first born because he's doing all these first things and I was at work. That was one of the driving factors for me to come home. That's why I wanted to be full-time. It was because of that. So that definitely has helped that I'm here for all that kind of stuff. I know my wife gets sad because I'm Charlie's favorite because I'm here all day with him and I give him snacks, but that's beside the point. But so that does help.
Snacks. You're buying his love.
Yes, I am. But we try to have, weekly video game nights, and that helps. And then I have my shows that I watch, and I like the boys go to bed, and I get to have me time. My wife working night shifts, so she's usually getting ready for work. So I'm either watching, the baseball game, or I watch wrestling. I know I'm stuck in the 90s. I know, but I watch wrestling. I like to watch that.
I know your trivia is coming up.
I know.
I stalk people for their trivia.
Yes, and then I like you can watch some Baby Yoda and comic book stuff, and I'm just a big nerd, but I like my. That's how I de-stress, and
yeah, and that's important.
A bag of popcorn and
that's important,
Game
right?
of Thrones or whatever I want to watch.
Everyone's different. Some people it's video games. That's Keith's stressor. I have 3 big things that I love to do, and so that I try to bounce between them so I'm not over. And I probably work too much, but I love to read books. I love to watch TV shows and movies, and I love video games. So I try to pick a different night for each one. So Sundays I read, you know what I mean? So it's all about balance.
Yeah. I like playing video games, but my attention span goes we got a PS5 and I worked so hard to find one of them things and I rarely play it. It's upsetting.
So we have a PS5, the newest Xbox. We both have a Switch and we both have gaming computers for World of Warcraft. We are huge nerds but that's Keith's biggest thing is his video games. And that's mostly what we do contentedly is we sit next to each other on the couch. He plays games and I read my books. And it works.
Once every other week, even though I'm very excited for Hogwarts Legacy to come out, I'm going to nerd out to that game. It's open world. You can go anywhere in Hogwarts. Mm-hmm. That's going to be amazing.
I'm looking forward to the newest Pokemon's coming out. It's open world. And Keith and I will actually be able to play in the game together. Because if you're not familiar with Pokemon, they always come out with 2 versions.
Yeah.
And then the only things you can do together is battle. Like if you both have a Switch and you're next to each other or whatever, you can trade Pokemons. But now we can be together and do things in the world and travel. So we're like totally geeking out.
Oh, that does sound pretty awesome. When's that come out? I didn't hear about that.
I believe it's November 18th. I actually have it written down. Let me look. Nerd City. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had just come out August 30th. And WoW is coming out in November. But yeah, it is November 18th.
There's a new Ghostbuster game that I want to, just because you get to drive Echo 1, and I'm a nerd, and that sounds awesome. I'm not going to play the game. I'm just going to drive Echo 1 around.
I mean, I never play games the way you're supposed to. Like in World of Warcraft, I just kind of do my own thing. I like the quests but again, it's just like with reselling. You build your business the way it works for you. You build your schedule. You can be like, you guys know Robert. He works all night and sleeps all day by choice. Bill and Dave get up at 4 a.m. Okay, see, yeah, if you win at the end, I will figure out how to get a hold of you. So anyways, you just got to make everything work for you. You got to do what works for you as far as your family, your mental health, your physical health, your friends, your business. And do what you want to do in your spare time. But it's important to have that. So we're going to go into the trivia. You can play along in the chat if you'd like. But Dan, this one you got to answer as quickly as you can. Okay? Quick. Tell us all the sports teams in Pennsylvania.
All sports teams in Pennsylvania? You got in Philadelphia, you have the Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers. In Pittsburgh, you have the Steelers, the Penguins, which I've kicked out. And yeah, that's it. Wait, I missed one. Pirates.
I actually have myself a note here that says I'm just going to believe him, whatever he says, because I don't really know. But I knew you missed one from Pittsburgh because I used to live there.
Yeah, I forgot about the Pirates. They suck. They're not relevant.
None of them are relevant to me, but there is a lot of sports teams in Pennsylvania. Tons. And there's also 3 huge companies in Pennsylvania that were startups there and were based out of there originally. So, Dan, what iconic ketchup company started in Pittsburgh? Yep. And what iconic chocolate
Hershey. That actually started in my hometown. Milton Hershey was born in Lancaster, had his first chocolate factory in Lancaster. We're almost like the quiet,
you forgot Penn State for sports, Dan and Bill are saying.
They're college. They're not pro. We also have Wilbur chocolate in Lancaster too, which are they're little like animal crackers that are dipped in chocolate. They used to come in the pencil boxes. That's here too.
I've had those. So the Hershey's got started in Lancaster and then became Hershey.
Yep, and he built his own town and a theme park and a stadium
and I've been there so many times. So when I used to be when I worked in the group homes with the adults with special needs, that was a field trip we took. Like every week we took a different group. I went through that factory, tour of the factory, and we wore hats and made chocolate. I did that so many times I can't count. And we
did that as a kid because we didn't have a lot of money and it was free. So my dad would drive us the whole way up. He'd drive us the 40 minutes to Hershey so we could take that tour, and it was something we could do for a couple hours and you didn't have to pay anything for.
Yeah, the tour was free and you got chocolate at the end.
Yes.
Was the petting zoo free? Yeah, I think the petting zoo was free too.
It's not free anymore.
Oh.
The zoo, I mean, it's not expensive. Unless if you're at the theme park, you get in for free. That's usually what we do. That's what we do after we eat. We go to Hershey Park and we eat lunch and then we'll go to the zoo. Because
the zoo used to be free, I think, though.
It might have been. I'm not sure.
But they have a petting zoo now, and they have the factory that you can go through, and they have a theme park. I have a question real quick I'm going to answer in the chat before I go to your next question. Maybe. My name is Star, and I know how to use a computer. All right. How do you use your coupon? Don't watch it now. Finish the live show, but then jump over to that link when we're done here, Patty. And that's like a real quick under 2-minute tutorial. It shows you how to use your coupon for free supplies. Use it now because it expires at the end of September and it does not roll over.
I
And we all like free stuff. Huh?
I have to do that. I usually do it right in the beginning of the month, but I had a backlog of poly bags, so I didn't. So I need to go take inventory of my shipping supplies and see what I need.
Yeah, we always get something different. It's whatever we need. But okay, so we have three.
I almost always get the 8x10 poly bags because that's what I use for 99% of everything I ship out. So
we used to get tape until we had shelves of it, and so now we get the little air mailers we send our remotes in.
Yeah, I got 14 rolls of it left.
I have like 500.
I actually got a 1-star review on Poshmark because I taped somebody's shoe box. I had the USPS shoe box. I sent their shoes and I used eBay tape. I got a 1-star review because of that.
No one else sees it. So.
I don't care. I got a nice laugh out of it.
Yeah, I use my eBay tape
in one of the groups too, just so people could laugh about it.
Okay, so 3 huge startups. We talked about the Cashier Company, which actually started in Pittsburgh, and I used to live down the street from the original Heinz house. Hershey, which started where Dan lives, and there is an iconic motorcycle company that started in York, Pennsylvania.
Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson. And guess how many times I've been through that factory too? Because I used to live in York.
I've never been through that. Oh, hey, noisy.
So it was cool. It was free. So we used to take our people there like once a week as well. And you sat through a movie and it showed you the brothers in the black and white in the 50s and 60s and how they started Harley. And then you could go and take pictures of the different bikes and stuff. And you got little buttons that you participated.
It's cool. I get to see a lot of Harley. I find a lot of Harley Davidson shirts at our thrift stores because of that, which is
cool. Tons of Harley in York.
Yes.
I lived in York for 10 years before I moved to Pennsylvania.
It is a huge biker town. Like they have biker bars everywhere, and they like their motorcycles. I'm not a fan of motorcycles, me personally, but
I'm a fan of the merchandise though because it sells.
Oh yeah,
and they are not part of the Vero on eBay. Harley clearly says you can resell anything as long as you don't repurpose it. So don't like put a patch on a shirt and say it's a Harley jacket or whatever.
As long as it has the Harley tag on the collar, it's good.
Yeah. I don't know what the adventure park was in the 60s. I was born in 78 and didn't go. I lived in Arizona the first 18 years of my life and then in North Carolina.
Go to mommy.
All right. Okay, so this is funny. How do you pronounce it? Lancaster or Lancaster?
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
We're the only ones that pronounce it that way because we're Pennsylvania Dutch. It's Amish. You can go to Ohio and California, and they will say that theirs is actually pronounced the other way. But we get very offensive if you say it wrong.
When I first moved to Pennsylvania, I called it Lancaster, and I had like the slight Southern twang on it from my family being Southern. I called it Lancaster.
No.
It's Lancaster. And what do they call the original one in England? Lancaster. I
think it's Lancashire, actually, in England.
Yeah. So it's Lancaster, not Lancaster.
Yeah, just bloody old Brits.
Okay, so now we're going to go to our this or that. You probably remember how this works.
Yes.
I'm going to shoot. Hi, Charlie. You want to play?
He's just getting into my shipping supplies, and that's his favorite thing to play with. He has millions of toys, but nothing's better than a poly bag. Okay, here, carry them away. Go, get mommy. Bye-bye.
I'm going to name 2 things, and you just answer. No thinking, no picking both. You have to pick one.
All right.
Okay. Summer or fall?
Summer.
Football or wrestling?
Football.
That was hard. I could see it.
I can talk to football to more people than wrestling. That's probably why.
The Mandalorian or classic Star Wars?
Get out of there. Get out.
That is hard too.
And
I'm going to say Mandalorian because I'm too young. I didn't get to watch Star Wars when it originally came out. I watched it as a young kid 20 years afterwards. So I didn't get the same feelings that everybody did when they first watched it. And I got that with Mandalorian. I remember the first episode where, spoiler alert, Baby Yoda appears, and I am running around my house, geeking out, and I had no one to tell because it was like an hour after it debuted, and I spoiled it on Facebook. I apologize, everybody, but I was so excited.
I
Thank
wore this
God
for
most
you.
people probably didn't know what I was talking about as I'm putting on my Facebook page, Baby Yoda at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, my thing is, I did grow up. I am old enough. I grew up on the original. I had the bed sheets from the 80s. I was Princess Leia for 5 years at Halloween. But I don't like 1, 2, and 3, and I don't like any of the newest ones. I mean, I like them for what they are, but they're not the classics to me. And I lost my love. And I feel like The Mandalorian
Brought it back, yes.
brought it back. I fell in love with Star Wars all over again. And Jon Favreau, to me, like, saved Star Wars.
He's the nerd god. He really is.
Yeah, he saved Marvel, too. Like, he created Iron Man, and without that, there'd be no MCU. So,
Yeah.
Jon Favreau is the man. Plus, he was in Friends.
Yes.
So,
great, but
but yeah, I like The Mandalorian because it here's my mouse pad.
Yes.
It made me fall in love all over again. You know, my hamster's named Ahsoka, and it just. But I still have my special place in my heart. It's the classics.
Yes, I like the my introduction actually to them is when they like digitally remastered them in the 90s and put them back in theaters. That is my first take because my dad took me to the digitally remastered ones in the 90s, and that's the first time I ever saw them. That was something me and my dad did together. So I more grew up on actually episode 1, 2, and 3 because that was my age, and I don't really like episode 1 sucks.
I can't stand Jar Jar.
It gets a little boring. Episode 3 is actually my favorite. I love the transformation of Darth Vader. Well, Anakin in the Darth Vader. I love that one. But
yeah, I really liked Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's good. It's not as good as Mandalorian, but it's better than what Boba Fett was. Boba Fett upset me.
Boba Fett sucked until it became Mandalorian 2.5.
Yes. It sucked until like the next to last episode. It's like, hey, there's Mando. Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda are back. All right, I got some more this or that. Sorry. You guys, when you get 2 Star Wars fans together.
It could go on forever.
Yes. All right. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
eBay or Poshmark?
I'm still going to go for eBay, even though I'll have a confession. I like the new Share All, which when it first came out, I complained because I said it's too easy now. Everybody's going to be sharing their closet all the time, and it's not going to matter because my stuff's going to get bumped right back down at the beginning. That is actually further from the truth. Just because you have to actually scroll down to get them to pick up everything for the save all, people are still lazy. I'm sharing my closet like 8 times a day, and I'm staying at the top, and nobody else is, and I love it.
Well, there's that, and people were using bots before anyway, so...
Yeah.
You were competing with people who were using bots.
And that's not cool either. But I like the fact that it's just enough work that not everybody will do it, but it's easy enough that I can, do 1,600, 1,700 items 8 times a day. Because I share it 8 times a day. I literally do. I do it while I'm eating breakfast. I do it while I'm eating dinner. My little secret is I have 2 phones. So on my old phone, I share it, and then I just put it off to the side so I can still play on my regular phone.
Yeah, I mean, we have more than one computer because we're total geeks. So
I don't.
We have our gaming computers. We have 2 laptops for work. We have some, we call them our beater desktops. You saw them. They were in the, but Keith was only sharing Poshmark once a day. And then when this came out, like you said, we're doing it multiple times on different computers throughout the house. And it works out. And I can even set it up, go do dinner. Like,
that's what it
has been a game changer.
It does help. My Poshmark is about $150, $200 behind my eBay right now this month.
My Macari does better than my Poshmark, but
I
think it's the remotes and the plush. They do really well on Macari.
But I only do the clothing, and I haven't even been doing shoes recently, and shoes are huge on Poshmark, so it's really crazy that I've been. I think it's funny. I talked to Bill.
Well, you said you're the J. Crew king. J. Crew is one of those brands that's like poop on eBay, but on Poshmark it does really well. They have it featured in their preppy parties and all that. J. Crew does really well on Poshmark.
Those little just like plaid button-up shirts from any of the American Eagle, J. Crew, Hollister, Abercrombie. I get $12, $15 for them, and they usually sell in a couple weeks as long as my pictures don't suck.
Yeah, and we pick up like the extra large ones for men. We find a lot of those in Florida. I'm not saying anything about people in Florida, but we find a lot of like the extra and the extra larges and the mall brands, and we can get 18 to 20 for those because
I
they're
just
bigger.
listed 3 Abercrombie's just today. There were 2 XL that I have listed up for 20, and the first person that offers me 15 gets it.
I'd say 18, but I'm greedy apparently, according to some people. I just
I
don't like racing to the bottom. I can't stand it.
I understand. I'm also on limited space. I got a 10 by 40, and it's already. I have 110 bins, which pretty much fills up my whole unit, and they're full. I'm going back through now and kind of like consolidating, and then I'll have to figure out what I'm doing when I'm done with that. So.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but you started it at 20, so you're not part of the problem. If you start your items at the market value, and then you're willing to go under me on what you're willing to accept on offers, that's different. And I'm not saying I don't have old stuff I don't sell for cheap.
Yeah, that's what I do on my bread and butter stuff. Then when I get really good stuff, then I hold out. Like Wednesday's bin trip this week, I found my first ever pair of mother jeans.
I saw.
Those are listed for 80, and you're not lowballing me on that. I've already had 2 offers at like 40. No, thank you.
Look at that. So we just sold a pair of I want to say J brands. They were up for 30. I accepted 25, and they paid another 25 to ship internationally. So they paid 50 for J brands.
I sold a scrub top to somebody. They spent $12 to me. And then like $60 to ship it. I'm like, it was just like a blue.
That's a nice sale.
Floral scrub. It was nothing special. I'm like, what are you doing?
Because there's certain brands and certain things that are America that go. Okay, I have a couple more of this or that.
It was a Dickies.
We got off again.
Oh dang it!
I got 4 more.
4 more. Wow.
Listing or packing shipping?
I would used to say packing. I'm weird and I like doing Frankenboxes, but now that I do clothing, it's just boring. So it's just put it in a bag, stick a label. So I like listing. I get in my own little world. Got my music on. Go play Troy.
Schedule pickup or drop off packages at the PO?
I drop off because my mailman's not dependable.
We dropped off the entire time we lived in Pittsburgh. We pick up now, but I made it a point to meet him when we first moved in here, and I give him water. So, but his substitute, the one day he has off a week, she's undependable. I can't stand her. I have an alarm set to make sure she takes them.
The young kid that does he checks a lot. Like even when I don't have stuff, because sometimes if I only have like a couple packages, I'll just put them between the door and he picks them up. But then there's just once in a time blue moon where he'll like deliver my mail and literally put it in the mail slot with the package and he doesn't pick them up. So I'm like,
that's weird.
So that's why I just go to the post office, which is very sad. My lady is retiring at the end of this month. I'm very sad because if there's like a line of like 10 people, because it's just a little small hole in the wall, little one that like one person can fit in. But sometimes, especially on Mondays, it's jam packed. She'll call me up to the front, open up the door. I just dump it in, leave. She'll scan. She has them scanned because I'm getting Poshmark notifications that my stuff's in within, a couple hours. So but she's retiring and the other lady won't do that. She makes me stand in that stinking line.
Man.
I got to teach her.
You have to teach her. You have to train her. All right. eBay's new listing form or the old one?
I didn't like the new one at first, but I've grown used to it. I started it way before other people did. Because as I said, I do not have the greatest computer in the world. Hence why I'm so fuzzy in this little picture. But and it just stopped working. Like I couldn't upload my pictures on it, and it was just weird. So now I started using the new one, and I've gotten used to it now. I mean, there's certain quirks. Like I wish when it said what season is this item for, there was an option where I could pick all of them instead of clicking all the dumb things, because half the time the window closes back up on me on that one. That one frustrates me.
So I've only been forced onto the new one since last Friday. It's only been a week. And I basically threw my hands up until I get back from Boston. I'm going to Boston next week for eBay Open. I'm not listening on eBay. It can just kiss my butt. I don't like it. It's horrible. That was my nicest way of saying the F-bombs I've been throwing around all week. I don't like it at all. It's like they tried to force some kind of cell phone shit into my computer, and I don't like it.
It was a learning curve trying to find stuff. Like you have to type in stuff specific. It's not like Poshmark where if you don't know how to spell like me, if you get close, it is still trying to put it up there. Like J Crew, you have to go J period C. You can't put a space or it won't pull it up.
And it keeps airing out and crashing on me. And I have a top of the line gaming computer that I use for work, so it's not my computer. Everyone's like, it could be your computer, and it's like, no, it's their new system. But that is a whole other topic. I have one last this or that for you.
This or that.
Clothes or shoes?
It's clothes now. It used to be shoes because they were higher average sell price, but then I realized I don't like cleaning them, and they're hard to find.
And they're grody.
Yeah. At my bins, they don't do shoes on Wednesday. Their shoes are done like Tuesday, and by that time, it's all picked through, so it's only garbage. I don't even look at them now. And I've been in a one thrift store in the last 2 months. I haven't been going. And that was just I had extra time, and I was sitting beside one, so I went. And I didn't find anything because I was used to paying 50 cents for shirts. So I get in there, and I'm like, oh, $10 for a pair of Levi's. Yeah, I don't think so.
Imagine going from up there down here.
I can imagine.
All right, so we're going to draw our winner. Okay, that's what you guys saw just now. This is cool. I hope it works. It is working the way it's supposed to. Susan Lavery, are you still here? Are you here? Hello. You just won 1 free month of List Perfectly. Even if you already use it, you just won't have a bill next month. It's a free month for anybody. So, Susan Laverty, you are the winner. Are you here still? I need to know if she's here. I didn't think about what if someone wasn't here. Like, how do I let them know they won? I guess do some detective work and find them on Instagram. Susan, you need to send me a direct message on Instagram and give me your email address so I can forward it to Tiffany in marketing and LP to get you hooked up for your free month.
Shh. Nobody wants to see your videos.
All right. Oh, she's here. Yay, Susan. Everybody say congrats.
Come on, get away here.
I got to go type in the other place. Hold on.
Can't be putting on other people's content. She'll get nailed for copyright, especially Mr. Beast. He'll nail you.
Yes, and I need my YouTube pennies, people.
Yeah, YouTube pennies. So no Mr. Beast or.
I need my YouTube pennies. So Susan, go. If you have Instagram, direct message me over there or Facebook. Your email address, and I can get that forwarded to Tiffany. And before we leave, man, he realizes we're about to go, so he's trying to say bye to everybody.
Yeah, he wants to be a famous YouTuber. He said that he's going to have more subscribers than Mr. Beast. So I don't know if that's possible, but who knows?
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Do you have anything you want to impart on these people before you go?
I don't have anything specific.
Any words of wisdom? Find your excuse. I like what you said about find the reason behind your excuse and fix it. That's his wisdom. That's his takeaway.
It's my wisdom. Put it on a shirt.
Some of your excuses are based in fact, but find out why and problem solve it. It's a hurdle. I put Dan's Instagram down in the comments, or no, in the description box for you guys. You can follow him there. Make sure you like and subscribe to us as well and join the Flippin' Hippos Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. Dan's in there as well, so you could chat with him in there if you want to.
I am.
Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Have a happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Find some way to balance your work and life. Go make some money and be productive. Bye. Thanks, Dan, for coming on.
No problems. I'm the greatest.